Magical Canon is a short TV series that follows the story of Chihaya, a girl, doctor of a restaurant owner, that follows systematically the basic format of Magical Warrior Girl series. So Chihaya meets a strange animal that looks like a bunny, so she secretly adopts it in her home. After receiving a kiss from her, which equals to making a pact with it, he reveals his identity as the emissary Natsuki, sent by the Queen Tsuyuha of the Evergreen World to recover some powerful seeds with the help of the Magical Warrior. As expected, Chihaya becomes into that Magical Warrior, called Carmine, that besides getting a special outfit with her transformation, Chihaya's body grows as an older girl with Natsuki as her companion that by surprise will change sometimes to his human form. And as it could be expected in this series, we'll see how the seed's power that her enemies use turn many people to monsters, using their desires as a power source. Eventually Carmine will meet another magical girls that each one will prefer to fight alone. Besides that, something on Evergreen's past will be very important in Chihaya's story. This TV series title can be confused with the one of the original OVAs that at the same time are based on a game, which both of them are adult-only versions, with this TV series as the version for all audiences, that in addition presents a younger Chihaya. This series, besides being inspired many of its characters on Cardcaptor Sakura, presents its own aesthetic style, so the character's design is one of the main attractives, besides the well-done fan service, which is a reminder of its origins, which also makes this series mainly targeted to teenage boys. Because of the magic theme on the Magical Girl series, there has been some series that mix references or are based on fairy tales, and Otogi Yushi Akazukin is one of these series, since many of its characters are based on protagonists of these tales. The story of this series in fact starts like a tale where we're told an old legend that mentions how the world was separated and divided on the worlds of the magic, Fundabel, and the science, Elde, which is our own world, when noticing God how the humanity could acquire more power that they may misuse. With this background, we follow the story of the protagonist boy, Sota, who besides being one of the few persons in Elde that knows this legend, he constantly dreams being attacked by a monster and next being saved by a girl. So it results that his dream was a premonition of what it would happen to him, because one day he's attacked by persons that turn into monsters, led by a cat, and after that he's saved by a blue-haired wolf and a girl dressed in red that uses some daggers. That wolf that can talk introduces himself as Val and is the assistant of the girl in red, who introduces herself as Akazukin, which means Red Riding Hood in English. She tells Sota that she comes from the world of Fundabel to prevent that the evil queen Cendrillon obtains the power of the key of Elde, which ends up being inside of Sota. So Sota, his old friend Ringo, Akazukin, and Val embark on a new adventure to save both worlds from the control and devastation by the hand of Cendrillon and her Nightmarians, be it by repelling their attacks when they live in Sota's house, or helping the people on their way when they visit Fundabel. Besides, the athletic and brave Akazukin is one of the three fairy musketeers that are protectors of Fundabel, so it doesn't take too long when the other two join them. The smart and spoiled princess Shirayuki Hime, which name means Snow White, and the sleepy Hibara Hime, which name means Sleeping Beauty. This series was initially launched as a single OVA that sums up the story beginning, which when it became popular was adapted as a 39-episode TV series, extending the original story. Something distinctive of this series is that besides including good music, it has a distinctive character design, which have a childlike look despite being teenagers and adults, many of them, which ends up being nice, including very detailed outfits. Fushigi Boshi no Futago Hime. It's a series that premiered after many series were starting to get more serious stories targeted to very different audiences from the original target, besides being inspired or based in some of the more known formulas, so this was different when returning to the original roots. This is a series where the creators let their imaginations fly when creating a unique, fantastic world that from its shape and places to its character and themes are full of funny and curious details. All of this well encompassed in a very entertaining story. This story is about the twin princesses Fine and Rain, which are famous for being the most unprincess-like princesses, because they're very impulsive and lack the manners expected from someone in their position. They are princesses of the Sun Kingdom, which is the central kingdom on the hollow planet known as the Mysterious Star, which works as the sun when turning along the day to light the another 7 kingdoms that are around of it over the inner surface of the planet. But one day, when a special party for all the princesses of the kingdoms is made, the twins discovers that the energy that produces the light of the kingdom is fading, being then invoked by the legendary Princess Grace, who is told that a long time ago she sacrificed herself to bring back the light in that kingdom. Then she gives them magical compact or lockets to transform themselves, being able that way to invoke the power of prominence, which will be necessary to return the light when making good deeds every time they help some person, even if they don't do it with their magic. To guide and advise them, they also get from Grace their companion called Pumo, who besides teaching them how to use their magic, he'll have to deal with the abuse he gets because of the carelessness of this capricious princess and their rudeness and occurrences. So we'll be knowing the different and fantastic kingdoms along their princesses and princes, while they solve each of the troubles of his people, making a closer relationship with them, besides that they discover the cause of the loss of light. This series shows a colorful and cute animation, making clear its target audience of little girls, looking very similar to the visual style of the Yume no Cryo no Koku series, complemented with a very catchy music. Sugar Sugar Rune are the magical words that the witch girls of this series use for their spells, which also turn out to be the name of this series, that is different to many of its time. This one is aimed to teenage girls, when the main theme is the love affairs between the protagonists. This is the story of the young witches Chocolate and Vanilla, whom they have completely opposite personalities, being Chocolate a daring and tough girl, and Vanilla a very shy and sweet girl, so the people treat them in very different ways. There are 2 witches that were chosen as candidates to be the new queen of the witches world, so in order to decide who's the chosen one, they'll have to take a test that consists in going to the human world and using their new wands to increase their power as they collect crystal hearts from the boys, which vary the value and power depending on its color. To be able to obtain hearts of different colors, they must get in love as many boys as they meet, trying to get each time more intense emotions, changing the colors of the hearts from yellow, which is of surprise, to more intense colors like pink and purple, which are of deep love, casting on them a spell on the right time to get that heart which goes out, including the emotions of the person, calming down and forgetting what he was feeling. But something unexpected for the girls is that the humans are very different in their preferences and reactions to the boys on the witch world, because while in their world are more popular the girls with a personality like Chocolates, on the human world the girls with a personality like Vanillas are more popular. exchanging their roles for the people being more followed and admired vanilla. But an important warning that their mentor on the human world gives them is that they have to try to get the hearts of everyone, but their hearts aren't to get by no one, meaning that despite that they make the boys fall in love with them, they shouldn't fall in love with no boy, which may cause them a lot of troubles, adding along the series this difficulty because they'll meet boys that they may like them. As companions, they'll invoke animals as their magic familiars, having Vanilla the smart and snobbish mouse Blanca, and Chocolate the playful and impulsive frog Duke, which they'll help and advise them when they investigate how the humans interact and which tactics they can use to win over the boys. Besides having a very styled and refined character design, mostly when they show attractive shonen men, and a very nice music, this series evokes the classic series Mayoko Megu-chan, since they use a lot of common ideas, like the rival candidates to Queen of the Witches and the seductive nature of the girls, in addition to the openings that are very similar, being maybe Megu a great inspiration for this series.
意地悪してでも男の子は本当は恋してるショコラアラフォーリン本当は恋してるショコラアラフォーリン
As time has passed, there has been experiments with new ideas, settings, or mixes of genres to make new anime stories, including on the magical girls genre as it is with this series, Okusama wa Mahou Shoujo, also known as Bewitched Agnes. This series shows a story where we see how it will be a setting in which the magical girl keeps that identity until she's an adult and is married, breaking with the young and innocent image of the magical girls and dealing with the troubles of an adult person, but without losing the story its light-hearted tone. The protagonist we mention is Ureshiko Asaba, which has the identity of Agnes Bell when turning into a magical girl. But despite the arrival of the magical girl Gap to be the successor and who receives the magical ring, she refuses because with the use of that power, there's the possibility of that town where she lives and has protected to disappear, depending on the will of the successor. So besides the conflict she has with Kruger, she also has love troubles because she has distance from her husband, between many reasons, because she has refused to kiss him, because if she do it, she loses her power, and besides she starts to have feelings for her new tenant, Tatsumi Kagura, of who we'll see also his perspective of the story. This series, besides being of magical girls, it also mixes a shonen drama story style, when we see the story and love troubles of the characters from a male point of view of a love story. And as a shonen series, this one includes its good amount of fanservice on the transformations, mainly in the case of Ureshiko or Agnes, which with the body of an adult woman, she uses the magical girl outfit which was originally designed for the size and proportions of a teenager. But this series is recommended for most audiences because the story is very lighthearted and nice, showing in a simple way all the conflict and drama that is developed. As time has passed, the magical girls genre has become so well known and popular, be it by its series, its characters, its visual design, or by its famous cliches, that there's frequently more series that they mix them in another stories and genres, whether in a comical way or as an extra twist. In the case of the series in general known as Akahori Gedo Aur Rabuge, it's unique because it's shown as a comical crossover of parallel stories that develop in a same episode at the same place, split only by its theme and its own subtitle. So a TV episode of this series is made of two halves, not necessarily equal, where it's told an episode of the pseudo-heroine's love pheromone and the other episode of the failed evil magical girls, Gedo Otometai, sometimes crossing their characters their ways by chance. For the magical girls genre, the relevant story is Gedo Otometai, a story in a comic tone where the five loving Hoke sisters, recently orphans, about daughters of two generic minions of an evil organization, receive as their last will the wish to become better villains than them, getting a mysterious sealed jar. The jar, when opened, sets free a small demon girl called Akunoko, who gives them magical powers to transform into witches that will conquer the world when guiding them on the ways of the evil. But here's the funny part, that ends up being frustrating for Akunoko, because the Hoke sisters are good and kind naturally. So many times, despite that each plan is made to cause damage and suffering to the people, they'll end up using their magic to do good deeds and help them, even if their dream is to accomplish their parents' wish. As the series opening sequence will show us, it's possible that at some point they'll face the other protagonists of the series, the love pheromone duo, who are their counterpart because they're hated heroines, because instead of helping, they end up making destruction. This series reminds us a little to Puni Puni Poemi when we watch a family of girls with diverse ages and personalities become magical girls, and because it's a similar parody of the magical girls genre but in a little lighter tone.